Tonight I'm doing a double gradient cyclone. So this is what the final look's going to be, or at least as close to that as I can get. And I'm going to start off with showing you how I do my base coat. So my base coat is once again Bonder by Orly. I also have Rise and Shine by Sinful Colors, China Glaze White on White, and an ancient color. This is Coral Brown by Rimmel. I don't know if it's still able to be found anywhere. And then, of course, everything's going to be topped off with Sèche Vite. So starting with my base coat. I do my base coat the same way I do all of my solid colors. So I just put a bead down and then get as close to my cuticle as I can without touching it. Sometimes I can get a couple of applications without having to dip the brush back into the polish. But I want it as close to the cuticle as I can get without touching, just because even though it's just base coat and I'm probably going to end up cleaning up later, it still keeps things nice and neat, which makes my OCD very happy. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my base coat, and then I'll be back with the base color. Now that the base coat is on and dried, we're going to start with the base color. I'm going to be doing 2 coats of China Glaze White on White, just to help the opacity of the sponged on polishes. So I start a little bit farther down away from the cuticle, push up, swing around down towards the tip, and then cap. There we go. Alright, I'm going to finish doing this and then I'll be back. Now that I've got my base color on and Simply Peel applied around my cuticles and it's mostly dried, we'll start with the base gradient. So I'm doing a vertical gradient instead of the normal, regular, common, I guess, horizontal gradients. So I'm just applying both colors on either side of my makeup sponge like I would with a horizontal gradient, except in this case the line is going to be up and down. So starting with my thumb, I'm just going to dab just a little bit. I'm only going to do a couple of layers because I want it to be kind of dilute, kind of soft. Just apply a little bit more of the polish on the sponge. Sometimes I overlap it a little bit, sometimes I just let the dabbing overlap it. And there should be enough for, yes, there's enough for the middle finger. I think I'm going to end up having to do 2, maybe 3 coats of the gradient to get the opacity that I want. So starting on layer 2, so once again with my thumb, I'm going to kind of get it down in between my nail and my cuticle. I think one more layer would give me what I'm looking for. And I gently rock it back and forth because I want that center line to be kind of blurry. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and do my right hand, and then I'll be back. Now that I've got both hands painted and top coated, I've got my vinyls set up on my nails. There's a top coat between the gradient and the vinyl just to help keep the vinyl from tearing out the polish. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before and generously apply the colors to the sponge, except this time I'm going to go in the opposite direction for the gradient. So the gradient currently is this direction, the new gradient's going this direction. I don't have any Simply Peel down just now. I just don't feel like dealing with it. It's kind of a pain in the ass when you've got vinyls. So once again, I'm just going to dab thin layers on my nails until the lighter color has a nice opacity. Hopefully I can do it without smudging my right hand too much. Had a little bit of difficulty with getting things to work with my right hand still having wet polish. So I'm just going to keep going like this, and then when it's done, I will meet you back. I'm on the last layer for the top gradient, the cyclone, and I just wanted to share the big reveal with you. So I'm going to lay down one more layer, and while the polish is still wet, I'm going to pull it up, and there we go. So I'm going to finish off the rest of my nails, and then I'll meet you back. Now that I've got all my fingers done, yeah, a couple of times I smudged it. It'll survive. But yeah, I've got all my nails done with the cyclones, so now I'm going to be using my little pearl buttons. First, I'm going to put a drop of top coat on the mat. Get a dot on my dotting tool. Place it right in the center of the cyclone. Pick up one of the pearls. Drop that down where I want it. And then move to the next finger. So I'm going to do this with all 10 fingers, and then I'm going to top coat. And they don't always want to pick up correctly. And I try not to smudge the design too much when I'm placing my accents down. Okay, apparently that one I need a little bit more on the bottom to get it to stick. Here we go. So I'm going to grab another little dot of top coat. Sèche Vite is a fast drying top coat, so it doesn't take very long for it to get to the point where it's super thick and not quite so easily manipulated. The alternative to using a polish glue, I guess, would be actual nail glue, which is fine if you're looking for something more permanent. I prefer to not have a whole lot of trouble getting my embellishments off my nails, so I use top coat. So now that I've got all 5 fingers on my left hand done, I'm going to take my top coat and I'm going to go right over the top of everything to seal my design as well as hold the pearl down. And I try to make sure that I have a generous amount over and around the pearl. It's going to take me probably 2 coats of top coat to feel secure with the placement of the pearl. But I'm going to go ahead and get all my fingers done, and then I will meet you back. So here is the final look. I think it's super cute. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and I will talk to y'all later.